So look, this shoe, the Puma Deviate Nitro Elite 3.
Hello, my name is Olivia. So that shoe is a very old electric 3.
Deviate Nitro Elite 3.
A Deviate Nitro 3.
Elite 3.
Elite 3
is worth talking about as one of the best race day shoes in 2024. Let me quickly explain why. Out of all of my race day shoes, which you're seeing here, only 2 pairs, these 2 at the end, are actually lighter than this shoe. However, they're definitely not as affordable as this is. And that brings it as a strong contender as one of the best running shoes, never mind race day, for 2024. I can boldly tell you, in my opinion, this is probably the best shoe Puma has ever produced, and I mean ever.
What up, peeps? The people? I will edit that bit out. What up, my dudes? Welcome back to Aubrey Running. There we go, that's good. Deviate Nitro Elite.
Electro 3.
Electro 3? What? Deviate Nitro Elite 3.
I've got the gang in the house. Bear with it, go with it. But for now, let's talk about it. My name is Aubrey, I'm a runner and I'm good with being me. I'm training for my first ever marathon, Berlin Marathon, September 29th. I'm gonna be there, my first one. I'm sharing a video series of my training leading up to that, so please subscribe to the channel. Every Sunday that video comes out and I would like you to join me on this journey. Please do subscribe. I have a goal of getting to 20,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And by the time of recording this video, you've given me 13,975. That's amazing. Let's start with the disclosures. I was sent this shoe. I was sent this shoe by ProDirect in collaboration with Puma for review, as well as attending the Unsanctioned Athletics running event. So they're not going to preview this video. Puma won't preview it. I'm just going to share my opinion. Now, because it's been sent to me, don't think I'm just going to be all nice and talk about the good things about the shoe. In fact, before I get to the intro and tell you about how I tested the shoe, let's talk about what I deem to be the faults of this shoe. And there's only one. And to me, it's the sizing. The Puma Deviate Nitro Elite 3 comes up a bit too long for me. Mind you, I've got the second version of the shoe, fits perfectly. I literally have all of the Puma lineup here, and all of them I'm a 9.5. But something about this shoe, and maybe it's this particular model that I have, this shoe runs a bit long. Simple fix, go a half size down. That's what I wish I would have done. But otherwise, apart from that, I genuinely can't fault the shoe. So let's talk about how I tested it. Now look, this video is not going to be a video about specs, i.e. the weight, the stack, the price, all that. I've done that video already. I would like to kindly ask you that you stay with me until the end of the video. I'll share a link to that video that tells you about the specs, everything, the features about the shoe, intended purpose. This video is simply how the shoe performed. I'm training for Berlin Marathon, and week 3 and week 4 of my training program was done in this shoe. Coming up to 47K done in this shoe. The first session was a rolling 300s interval session. 300 meters at half marathon pace, 300 meters at marathon pace, done in reps, a total of 9K. I totally enjoyed this session, and I want to touch on this bit. This shoe handles slow pace very well. Now I know you don't really need a race day shoe for zone 2 easy runs, but there are some race day shoes that can handle that very well. An example is Mizuno's Wave Rebellion Pro. Exceptional at the fast paces, marathon, half marathon pace. But if you're doing interval work, a fast day shoe needs to also be able to slow down, and this executed perfectly. Next up, this I hated. I was on a treadmill for this 8K in zone 2. And this was on a treadmill. I wanted to experience what it was like, but also the weather was bad that day and it handled perfectly. It's Puma grip. It's not gonna let you down. It's a race day shoe. You have to put it on a test. So I went on to Unsanctioned athletics event at Worthing. It was what I thought would be a 5K race. I ended up running something like 8.4K, running around Worthing, changing the paces here and there, and it was just a pleasant ride. It'll sound like I'm exaggerating, but I have tested out Puma shoes, and this one just hits the mark. Because I'm trying to up the mileage, went out again on a Zone 2 run in this shoe, and you know what? One indication of a good shoe is when you're getting it out for everything. I'm mindful. I know it's not recommended to be doing Zone 2 or your daily runs in a carbon plated shoe, but this shoe just feels perfect. The only reason I would advise not picking it up is race day shoes have got a shorter lifespan, and therefore you want to keep them for those special occasions. But you also want to know that your race day shoe can handle a variety, a diverse type of workouts. Then I put it on a test on a progressive run. This was a 6 minute 10 seconds per K pace, progressing all the way to 5 minute 20, which is my threshold pace. And it handled that transition very well. And this is what I mean. I'm not out here just trying to put on a shoe to break PBs. A shoe needs to be able to handle all of that. And I think this is the theme for this shoe. It's not an exaggerated race day shoe that is just purely for going fasting. The midsole they've put in this thing allows it to have that range in terms of the type of distance as well as pace that you can push into it. And then again, I took it on another Zone 2. I'm really trying to live out this whole 80% easy, 20% hard. And so when I want to test shoes, regardless of what type of shoe I will be testing, I want to be able to give you how it performs in terms of race day effort, whether that is 5, 10, half marathon. I haven't done a marathon yet, so I won't give you that, but I will give you a long run view. I will also be able to give you, in terms of the cushioning, how does that feel along those distances. Okay, so let's talk about how it feels to actually run in this shoe. The first thing I want to talk about is this midsole. They've put in what I believe to be better feeling than your usual Puma foam. This aliphatic, and again, I don't care for proprietary names as well as scientific names of midsoles, because I don't care what you call it. I've seen it in many shoes where they've maintained the name of a midsole, but it feels different to the previous one because they've changed the formulation of that midsole. All I can tell you is it's been a long time since I ran in a shoe as fun as this. This midsole has a spring. It has cushion. It's got propulsion. The return of energy that you get in here, it just fuses in the top layer of that foam, the carbon plate, as well as the bottom layer, just perfectly. I want to just make sure you don't see this as me exaggerating. This truly has been my experience. The Ultra Weave upper. What is this? This is an ultimately breathable upper, highly resilient, and I enjoyed it. The one drawback which I'll highlight to you, which is what I said, it fitted a bit longer than I wanted, where my toes feel like they could invite their relatives to come and live in this shoe as well. There was so much space within this, and I think that's the only thing I'm going to criticize. Apart from that, the other thing you guys know for me to pick fault at is the tongue, without it being gusseted. Now, I think that's the reason why this shoe is as light as it is. Am I going to accept the weight reduction as a good compromise for the tongue not being gusseted? Absolutely. I won't lie to you, it's not as big an issue. The way they've tried to get around it, you're going to see on the tongue that the laces actually feed through the tongue in a bit of a different way that you normally see running shoes do. I still would have loved a gusseted tongue. I just get along with them. It means you get the same feel and experience every time you put the shoe on. The tongue itself is highly breathable. You're going to see the perforations, and I really like it for that. We're currently in summer, and I appreciate the breathability of this upper as well as what they've done on the tongue. Let's talk about the lockdown. I don't have a single thing to fault in terms of this heel and how it works. It's a good balance, I think, between keeping it minimalistic, but as well as giving you the cushioning you need. Puma has simply nailed it in this shoe. Now, I'm going to be bold and say this. There won't be many shoes coming out this year that will be clearly better than this shoe. This shoe, as a shoe on its own, requires your attention. It requires you to consider it. Simple as that. Just consider it. That's all I would say. In terms of how versatile this shoe is, I was simply impressed. All right, so look, I know this is not very scientific, but how do I know this is a very good race day shoe? Let me explain it to you. If a shoe can disappear underfoot, can stop being part of the experience, and just allow you to run and expose the fact that you're only failing to go faster because your lungs, your heart, your legs can't handle it, because the shoe gets out of the way and exposes the fact that actually you didn't smash that PB because it's your heart, it's your lungs, it's not the shoe. That to me is a good race day shoe. And this shoe simply gets out of your way and allows you to just perform. I love that. All right, so look, I mentioned this video here. This video is going to give you all the specs, all the stats for the Deviate Nitro Elite 3 as well as the Nitro 3. So click on that and I'll catch you on the next one.